Drop dubs, hit routes, so yeah, we on the move. From the paint to the pocket, got nothing to prove. Precision in the pass, rhythm in the run. Every play, every day, till the work is done.
Yeah. Step on the field, I'm reading the D. Eyes wide open, ain't fooling me. Pump fake, sidestep. I'm breaking the press from baseline to sideline. I'm bringing my best. Snap back, quick glance. I'm calling the play. Hoop dreams and touchdowns. I'm making my way. No look behind the back. Fred in the scene. Every angle, every shout. I'm chasing a dream. Drop times, hit routes in the deep, no doubt. From the field to the hardwood, hear the crowd shout. Pass it, dish it, through traffic. We find.
Hey, what's poppin', y'all? It is your boy, Guard-E3, and welcome to Coffee and Sports, the morning show. Now, apologize, got off to a little bit of a late start. Just turned 30 last month, old, so that's all right. We have a little bit of fun today. Thought I'd hop on, and we're going to talk some football. And I thought we'd have a little fun, and we would start by talking about the upcoming games this weekend. We got a couple of teams that are in the hunt that really need some help. So I figured we'd have some fun and start there. So we have first team I thought we would discuss, the Detroit Lions. We have they're vying for a wild card spot, so I thought I'd give a little quick breakdown as to what needs to happen for Detroit to make the playoffs. We're essentially in a scenario where all of these wild card teams need the team in front of them to lose out, and they need to win out. So the Detroit Lions, if they want to make the playoffs, they got to beat the Vikings and Bears and hope that the Packers lose to the Ravens. And then they got the Vikings in the final week of the season. Now, Green Bay has, they've been reeling a bit. They got hit with the injury bug, and then we, of course, had that disaster class from Green Bay this past weekend. Do I think that they lose out? I can truly say, and I don't even think this is a homer thing to say, no, Green Bay is not going to lose out to let the Lions into the playoffs. And the biggest reason I'm confident in that is, look, we struggled against Denver, blew it against the Bears. And even if we lose against Baltimore, you are asking Max Brosmer, potentially, or J.J. McCarthy, whoever, to come in and beat Green Bay. And I just don't think that happens. Say, we have 9, Brosmer. It doesn't really matter to me. I just don't think the Vikings can get it done in the last week. I do think that the Lions will win out. They have the Vikings this week, and then we're talking about the following week. They have the Bears, who I think by then, obviously, they're going to have their playoff seeding just kind of locked up. So I don't think y'all got to worry about the Lions winning out, because I'll give them credit. I think they will end the year on a strong note, and I think they will win out. But, yeah, I am not confident that the Packers lose out. I think we take care of business against the Vikings, even if we lose against the Ravens, which I also think that we beat the Ravens. So, but that one will be a tougher game. But the Ravens are also reeling, potentially even worse than the Packers. So, I think that the Lions fall short. It's kind of a similar scenario with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got to win out. They need the Panthers to lose out, which what makes this fun is if the Buccaneers win and the Panthers lose, we set ourselves up for a final week of the season showdown battle for the NFC South. Bucks, Panthers. And it's anyone's game at that point. Now, obviously, when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if this were the lines I were talking about, I'd have a lot of confidence in them figuring it out over the last two games. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not given me a reason to be as confident. They've been reeling. Baker Mayfield has fallen off a cliff. Now, granted, Baker's dealing with an injury. I completely understand that. But we are talking about a scenario which, if you're out there, you got to perform, and he hasn't done that. I hope they win at least week 17 to give me a battle for the NFC South in week 18. But in order for that to happen, really banking on Baker finding his groove. So I think that I'm going to predict that the Buccaneers win in week 17, setting up that week 18 showdown with the Panthers. And I'm going to predict that the Panthers take it home. Say, now the Ravens, they're on the bubble. Pretty much, I'm not confident that any of these bubble teams make it because the last two teams are Ravens and Colts. Colts have to beat the Jaguars, which I think might be possible. At the same time, the challenge with the Colts is Phillip Rivers has come in, and I think he's done a sensational job at quarterback. You really can't ask for much more than from a 44 than what he has given you so far. Problem is, now the defense is nosedive. It has fallen off of a cliff. So I just don't have faith in it. I would love for this to come to a battle in the AFC South too, but I just flat out think they lose to Jacksonville in week 17 and end their playoff hopes. Obviously, they need a Chargers win as well against the Texans in order to really set up the matchup we all want, but I just don't think it happens. How are the Cowboys this year? Well, the Cowboys are eliminated from playoff contentions. Their season's all but over. Funny part about them is Dallas, they had a really, really strong offense, and that they have a good launching point to build off of. They just got to figure out this whole defensive issue. They had Dak Prescott playing at and this is going to sound crazy, right? They had Dak Prescott playing at an MVP level. He was sensational for them this year. The offense clicked. The defense just couldn't get stops when they needed them to. So, but of course, the Baltimore Ravens are also, by the way, thank you for tuning in, sir. I definitely appreciate it. Say the Baltimore Ravens are, well, let's be real. Baltimore, I don't see it. They have to win out as well. If they win and the Steelers lose, we're in for a battle for the AFC North. But I don't know. You have Lamar Jackson currently dealing with a back injury. I don't think they even make it that far. That's kind of my concern, right? I would honestly pick the Ravens over Green Bay, being non-biased, if Lamar was healthy and could maneuver like he normally does. Because I think the Packers truly would have, problems containing him. But Lamar with bruised back, I think that the Packers will do just fine against him. It's been an unfortunate season for the Ravens. It really has, and it kind of begs the question going into 2026. Is it time to move on from John Harbaugh? And I think the answer just at this point is yeah. It seems like he's well liked and hey, what's going on? Hey, Granny, how's it going? say John Harbaugh, he is a well-respected, member of that Ravens locker room. It really seems that everybody loves him in Baltimore, but I'm talking player-wise. The fans are really cheering on to fire him, but at the end of the day, this is a results-driven league, and we're talking about a team that, ever since it feels like the turn of the decade, has been blowing lead after lead after lead, and the results just haven't been there. So at some point, the results they need to come, and they clearly just haven't for this team. So I don't think the Ravens really pull anything off here. And when we're talking about, it's it's bad when your own tight end. I don't know if y'all saw the video. Isaiah Likely leaving the game, and he's literally saying, "We are A-word." It's not a good look. It's just the vibes and chemistry at this point just seem way too off for them to come back from that. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. In turn, I think there's, at the end of the day, I think when we're talking teams that these wild card teams, if I had to rank them in order that I think odds that they make the playoffs, I think I would go Buccaneers first. And then I think I'd go Detroit. You know what? I'll flip that. I'll go. I think Detroit has the best chance to make the playoffs out of all these teams. Then Tampa Bay, and then of course I'll go Ravens. Then Colts. I think naturally I wanted to put the Buccaneers ahead of Detroit because Detroit winning would require the Packers losing out, but at the same time, we're talking about the Packers just have a much more difficult schedule, and the Lions are just a better football team. So, say they're a better football team than the Buccaneers, and I'm just going to give them the edge. So that's kind of how the odds where I think that this whole wild card situation plays out. I think the playoffs pretty much just stay exactly as they are right now. There might be some changes up top depending on results of games. Maybe teams move up, maybe teams move down. But in terms of teams that are on the outside looking in, I think they all just stay on the outside looking in. But hey, hopefully I'm wrong. Look, I am hoping that the Buccaneers, Ravens, and Colts all get to play for a playoff spot in Week 18. Of course, I'm rooting for Minnesota to just beat Detroit and end their season pretty much on Thursday for Christmas. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I thought I would double down here, right? So figure why not have a little fun and pick the results of the games for this weekend. You want the Ratbirds to fall? Absolutely. Look, if the Lions can't get the job done, or say if the Vikings can't get the job done, I'm just hoping that we beat Baltimore on Saturday. Look, we had an old flame help us out real big time this past week in Aaron Rodgers taking out the Detroit Lions. So I would love to return the favor and get old man Rodgers into one final playoff run before he calls it quits. So, but I thought I had a little fun. Let's do a little pick 'em. I'm going to pick every winner for this week. We're going to see how I do. So I'd love to hear your guys' opinions to see if you think I'm right, awesome. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know why. And then obviously, if you have any questions you want me to address, I'll be here all night. Kidding. Too old for I need to take a nap. I need to take my daily power nap. So first game, got Cowboys and Commanders. I'll keep it honest. I'll take the Cowboys. I think their offense is just too overpowering for this Commanders defense. And look, I think the Commanders, obviously, their first step into fixing their issues they got going on, I think they need to get younger. A lot of people, they look at like Jaden Daniels and they think this is a young team. The Commanders have like the oldest team in the NFL. That team is laced with vets. They tried to double down and go all in after their NFC Championship run last year, but I think that's just a mistake. I think you got to keep going a little bit with this. I wouldn't say rebuild because I don't think they're going to be as bad next year, but I think this is a team that just needs to be younger. Bobby Wagner's about 1 year away from just being a statue out there. So I think it starts I would say in the draft. I would say see if you can re-sign Bobby Wagner for 1 more year and then draft a linebacker and see if, he's willing to stay and, mentor a linebacker. Say, give him a fun little retirement tour. But yeah, I think in terms of this weekend, I think Dallas takes it home. Guys, I got to be unbiased. I can't do it. I think the Lions beat the Vikings. I'm going to be cheering for it's so hard to say this as a Packer fan, but I'll be cheering for the Vikings this weekend, but I don't see it. I think Detroit's just the much better team. Detroit's just an unfortunate situation for them at the end of the day. This is a physical football team. The problem with being a physical football team is you get ravaged by injury a lot of these years. And that's what happened last year, and that's what happened again this year. O-line situation was so rough, they almost brought Frank Ragnow out of retirement until he couldn't. And now the secondary is just so beat up for Detroit. Their offense is clicking. They're the second-ranked offense in the NFL, according to PFF. Like, the offense is cooking, especially ever since Dan Campbell took over play-calling duties. The problem is now he is so, locked in on the offensive side that the defense is kind of fallen off a cliff due to injuries, but also Calvin Shepard is a first-year play caller who he's not kind of on an island. I'm sure obviously he can get some help if he needs it, but Calvin Shepard being on his own island as a first-year play caller, that's a tall ask. So I do think, though, that the Lions will end up beating the Vikings. I know the Vikings got them last time, but this is a desperate Detroit team that is playing for their playoff lives, and I think they come out like it. I'll take the Broncos over the Chiefs. I think this game will be close. This game might be closer than people think. No, you know what? Never mind. This one's going to be a blowout. Because here's the thing. For a minute, I thought, okay, maybe the Broncos will start resting starters, but they're still fighting for the 1 seed, so probably not. So you know what? Yeah, I'm going to pick the Broncos over the Chiefs because it's not their time to rest starters yet. They got to lock up that 1 seed so the playoffs will run through, Mile High. So it's going to be a blowout. The Chiefs, they're running their third-string quarterback against an elite Broncos defense. It would take an absolute miracle just for this game to be within single digits. So, of course, we have the Chargers and Texans. I'm gonna go Chargers. I'm gonna go the Chargers. Look, I know it's boring. I'm picking this is kind of a greedy pick. I could very well see the Texans winning this. Wouldn't be shocked. That being said, this is kind of a greedy pick because I do want the Chargers to win so we get that battle for the division next week. This would also require the Colts to beat Jacksonville. But at the same time, the Chargers just kind of run that perfect offense to slow down the Texans' defense. They like to run the ball. They like to make sure that Justin Herbert doesn't have to Say they like to run the ball. They run it a lot. They're going to make sure that that pass rush is a step slower and can't get at Justin Herbert as quickly. Now, I do think that this will be an insanely close game because the limited times that Herbert will have to drop back, because I think this will be a Harbaugh classic where you're running the ball 30, 40 times, but the limited times he does have to drop back, we're talking about dealing with Anderson and Danielle Hunter. I think that will be a tall task, and I think that will keep the game close. I think this will be a low-scoring, ugly football game. So, but I'll pick the Chargers to pull it out. Y'all know where I'm going with this one. Go, Pat, go! So, how about Steelers and Browns? I think this will be a close game. I'm going to go with the Steelers. That being said, it's a weird one. Divisional games are weird. They never play out how you expect them to. So, while I do think the Steelers pull it out, this one wouldn't shock me if it came down to like a last-second field goal or maybe like an old man Rodgers walk-off touchdown. But I will pick the Steelers. Now, I do think Jacksonville should win this football game. That being said, I'm going to get greedy. Like I said, I want this battle for the AFC South. So let's will it into existence right now. Colts take out the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do think Jacksonville probably wins this game. I do think that they should win this game. But we are going to will this thing into existence. We're going to have a little fun. We have a desperate Colts team fighting for their playoff lives. I don't know if the defense can get enough stops to, keep up with Jacksonville. I'm not confident. I wouldn't bet money on this, but this is going to be, we're going to trust our gut and we're going to trust our heart that we're getting this battle for the AFC South in Week 18, which would require a Colts victory here. So I'm going to predict the upset and say that we're going to get it. And I do think that Tampa Bay takes care of the Miami Dolphins. Look, beating the Dolphins in December is not the tallest task ever. So I'll take it. Tampa Bay, once again, this is going to be a desperate Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. This is a more talented Tampa Bay Buccaneers team than the Miami Dolphins. They should win this game. And if they can't beat the Miami Dolphins, they really never deserved a playoff spot anyway. So, Patriots, Jets. Divisional games are weird. That being said, I think this is just going to be an absolute slaughter fest. The Patriots are just so much more, well coached. They're a lot more talented. I just don't see how this is competitive. Saints, Titans. I like this one. I think this will be a low-key entertaining game. Cam Ward. Look, the Titans have problems right now. We know this. It's not a secret. But one of their problems is not Cam Ward. I think they have their franchise quarterback. I do think there's some talent at receiver. I think we're just looking at a young and experienced team that just still needs some more time to develop. I think, Cam Ward was sensational last week. He made some absurd throws, and the chemistry's coming along. Give this team, I'm going to say give the Titans another 2 years. I think if you give them another 2 years, that they could be a legitimate wild card threat. I think next year is going to be another year to develop a lot of these young talent. But I could say they might be the team to make that hey, our young quarterback sophomore leap. So I do think that they're 2 years away from being a wild card team, but I think they're trending in the right direction. They just got to fix the line, fix the defense a little bit. We all good. That being said, also, give credit to the Saints too. Criticized for not taking Shedeur Sanders when you can make a legit argument that they got the best quarterback in the draft. Now, I'm talking about strictly this year. I think the other quarterbacks have more long-term potential than Shuck, but you make an argument that Tyler Shuck has been the best quarterback out of the entire class this year. Make an argument that he should be in the running for Offensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, not Offensive Player. Offensive Player, I said it last night, I'll say it again. As long as he doesn't completely fall off a cliff, that's Jackson Smith-Njigba. I will, you know what? I'll pick the Saints to win this one. Saints are rolling right now. I think the Titans will keep it close. I think this will be a fun, close game, but yeah, I think the Saints pick up another win. So we'll see. I think the Saints. It's funny, going for the number one pick to now. I think they'll be picking closer to 7, which I think if you're the Saints, that's probably fine. So you'll take it. I don't think you need a quarterback this year. So I think you can live with that. Kind of build a winning culture for a lot of these young guys. I think if you're the Saints and if you don't think Tyler Shuck's the answer, I think you use next year's draft to continue to build some more offensive line pieces. I think mainly the big thing is you get more defensive pieces if you're the Saints. And then if you really don't think he's a franchise quarterback, you start maybe looking at that 2027 draft. But I truly have been impressed with Tyler Shuck, and I think he just deserves a lot of love for the work that he's done this year. And I wouldn't even be thinking about quarterback next year. So, Panthers, Seahawks. I'll take the Seahawks. I take Seattle. I think both teams are kind of fighting for something. The Panthers are trying to, lock up that South Division. Seattle is, they're not out of the clear. NFC West, you would think with 12 wins they would have it locked up, but the 49ers are, nipping right at their heels. And I got to give Kyle Shanahan a lot of credit. This might be his best work as a coach. Now, obviously, he's had a couple, Super Bowl runs, so, those are up there. But you can make an argument that with all the injuries and how beaten up this team has been throughout the year, the fact that they have 11 wins and are not only going to make the playoffs, they could still win the division. To me, that is absurd. So I want to, give some flowers to Shanahan. I think he absolutely deserves it for this coaching job he's done. And I think, they're going to have a chance to do it. Seahawks are going to take care of the Panthers this weekend. Bengals playing for pride. I think they take care of the Cardinals. So the team that is in disarray, they need to fire the entire coaching staff and get their line sorted out so Burrow isn't getting killed every time he drops back. I think you either need to sort the line out or invest in a high-end running back. Get the run game going. You got to get Burrow to stop taking so many hits. But at the same time, the main focus has to be defense because you can't be dropping 38 points, but your defense gives up 39 points to the Justin Fields-led Jets. And there's been multiple instances like that where the offense does more than enough to win, but the defense just can't do anything with it. So I think that if you're the Bengals, you just got to invest in the defense. So I don't think that I think they win this one, but this is a Bengals team that has a lot of work to do this offseason. Giant. Oh, you know what? I'm going to save that one. Actually, no. This is my favorite game of the weekend. These two teams currently are tied for the worst record in the NFL. So whoever loses this game gets the inside track to the number one pick. Apparently, it's big enough. They're sending Kevin Harlan to announce this game, I love it. I don't know why. Guys, tune into this game. The Tank Bowl will be fun. Sometimes two teams are just so like bad. It turns out to be a great game because they're so evenly matched. Plus, you get the most like boneheaded, stupid plays. You get them just trying out new stuff out of nowhere. They're getting innovative. I think this game might be the game of the weekend just because of how like stupid it's going to be. I think it's going to be one of those really stupid fun games. So Raiders or Giants? You know what? I'm going to go Raiders. I think this would be the most Raiders thing to do, would be to win this game, ironically. This is a Raiders team that, I think their biggest need right now is quarterback. In fact, I could see the Raiders just winning the next two just kind of screw themselves over. It would be a funny scenario. I think the Giants they're reeling. This offense is pathetic. Their run defense is pathetic. They have a great pass rush, but if I can just run the ball 30 times, a game and move the ball at will on the ground, then I kind of negate the entire point of your elite pass rush. So I think that's kind of maybe one of the bigger areas of concern for the Giants this offseason. Let's go out there and get some run stoppers, get some big boys in the middle. So I think they have pieces. I just think they need to add more to the defensive end. Let's get some secondary help, get some corners, get some D linemen. Bills, Eagles. I'll go Bills. I'll go Bills, even though I got a lot of got a lot of Eagles fans, on the network. That's all right. I don't think they'll beat me up too much after this one. Kidding, but it's a good Buffalo team. I think the Eagles, I'll give them credit. It seems like they're figuring out their offense, but I think the key to this game is the Bills' rushing attack can keep the offense off the field. Defense has been, heating up for Buffalo. I think that they just have the perfect setting to hold off the Eagles. I think this will be a close game, and I wouldn't be shocked if Philadelphia beat Buffalo. But you're going into Buffalo and beating the Bills in a situation where they're in a must-win game if they want that division, and that's a tall ask. So I do think that Buffalo pulls this one out. Say Rams, Falcons. Yeah, I don't even think I need to explain that one. And of course, I'll save this one for last. 49ers, Bears. Let's give the Bears, all the credit in the world. This was a team that before the season started, people were, you're thinking like, okay, they're going to be the third place team. And a lot of people had them finishing as a fourth place team. It was really dependent on how, JJ McCarthy would look throughout the year. So there's a lot of people that had this team finishing last. And not only did they prove everybody wrong, they did it in a big way. They're going to probably win the NFC North. I don't doubt that they're going to do that. So even though it's a rivalry game week and they just beat us last weekend, I should be salty. And it's funny, I'm salty about that game, but not really at the Bears, just at the Packers and their lack of execution and accountability. But I'm going to give them credit. I got to give them their flowers. At the end of the day, this is a team that defied the odds all year, and now they're going to get a home playoff game, and they absolutely deserve it. So I'm going to give the Chicago Bears their flowers. That being said, I'm going to go with the Kyle Shanahan 49ers team. I think this will be this. Okay, obviously I love the Tank Bowl, but in all seriousness, I think they picked the right game for Sunday night. I think this will be the best game of the weekend. We're going to have two elite coaches and coaching staffs going at it. Ben Johnson versus Kyle Shanahan. This is a 49ers team that we're just kind of mentioning earlier. If they want to win the division, they need to win. Because I really do not think that Seattle loses against Carolina. So if they pull Seattle wins, then the 49ers need to win if they want to win that division. But I'll pick them to pull that out. I think we're going to get a really fun slate of games in Week 18 where there's a lot of like games that have playoff implications, like for the division, win and get in. I'm a kind of a greedy person, so I would love to see the Buccaneers, Ravens, and Colts all in that scenario. Pretty much everybody on the outside looking in love to see a scenario where it's win and you're in. Let's add some more stakes to Week 18, except for the Lions. I don't need that stress. You're looking at a Green Bay team with injury issues. That's fine. Damian, here's the thing. You can clip that. I've been giving the Bears their flowers all year. Before the season started, I told everybody that Caleb Williams was going to be a top 10 quarterback. And it's funny, I have a clip on my TikTok page of me giving the Bears their flowers. So I think when it comes to division rivals, I'm probably one of the more fair guys out there. And I don't mind giving them their flowers when they deserve it. So that being said, I don't think y'all win this weekend, which I think that's okay. I think the Bears are in a scenario where they could go into the playoffs, lose and be one and done. And that's okay. That's at the end of the day, this is a team that it's already had a wildly successful season, and you can't take that away from them. I know a lot of people will clown them if that does happen, and I'm not saying it will. I don't necessarily think it will. Of course, unless they match up against Green Bay, then obviously it'll happen. Go Pack, go! But at the end of the day, regardless of what happens from this point forward, you can't take anything away from Chicago and the jump that we've seen from Caleb and that offense. So it just goes to show, especially when we are going to be entering a new offseason, which means you're getting a new cycle of coaches. I think it just kind of goes to show that take a chance, right? Now, it doesn't always work out. For every Ben Johnson, we have a Brian Callahan. But and I completely agree, Damian. I think this is a Bears team that has the talent to make it all the way to the Super Bowl, and it wouldn't shock me. It's a dogfight in the NFC, but at the same time, I think the Bears are talented enough to hang with anyone in the NFC. I would say a lot of these, especially a lot of these younger teams, go for like the younger coach. Take a chance. Now, I think that maybe an exception to that rule, maybe if you're like a team like the Titans who did take that chance and it backfired horrendously, if you want to get a coach that's more of a veteran coach that'll give you a safe floor and help develop the younger players, I get it. But I'll be interested to see how this offseason goes. I'm going to hate it. Actually, I'm not looking forward to the offseason because I completely understand that Jeff Hafley is not long for the Packers. I think he gets a head coaching job. And I'm curious to see who else gets a head coaching job. I could very well see Joe Brady getting a head coaching job. I'll be looking forward to it. But if you're an NFL fan, it's a great time to be one. We're going to be having a lot of fun games, and hopefully Week 18 is just a lot of high stakes games. So We're gonna be having a lot of fun on Thursday as well. It's gonna be Christmas, not only for the NFL, but of course we got Christmas basketball. And look, I'm not gonna lie. As much as I love the NFL, probably more tapped into basketball for most of the day. I'll have both of them running, but I'll try to pay attention to both as much as I can. But it's gonna be a fun one. We got if anybody hasn't seen the Christmas Day slate for the NBA, we got Cavs Knicks, Spurs Thunder, so we get another Wemby Chet matchup. That'll be fun. So you got Mavs Warriors, which before the season started had potential, but now it's like, let me put it this way: if out of all these games, if you're gonna are you talking about are you talking about backup quarterback? Who would I trust more between Josh Jacobs or Jayden Reed? Because if anybody doesn't know, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, yeah. Jordan Love, because I was talking about the Steelers not too long ago. Jordan Love's still in concussion protocol. We're talking about Malik Willis has a shoulder issue, which would, if Malik and Love can't go, we're talking about Clayton Tune, I believe, is the third string quarterback at this current moment, which would put the emergency backup quarterback of the Green Bay Packers as either Josh Jacobs or Jayden Reed. And I think the answer is it's tough. I would probably go Jayden Reed. I think at the end of the day, you could run some fun read option and the gadget plays at least. I'd mix it. Maybe if it came down to it, I'd mix it up with some Jacobs direct snap runs, and get Jayden Reed in the back to throw some as well. But let's just hope it doesn't come down to that. But I would go Jayden Reed at quarterback if desperately needed. That way, we can keep Josh Jacobs as the kind of like a bell cow back. But you know what? It's all right. We're going to get a Clayton Tune legacy game if necessary on Saturday. So if there is a defense that is going to give up a Clayton Tune legacy game, would be the Ravens, wouldn't it? And I know Jory, I know Kyle, they would be ecstatic if that happened. I don't know who's cheering more for Green Bay on Saturday. I don't know if it's me or if it's Jory or Kyle, our resident Ravens haters. So they might be bigger Packer fans than I am on Saturday. Kidding, but it'll be a fun one. So I know we got Sunday's game slate. Look, if you're gonna take some time, if you're watching sports all day, definitely skip that. Definitely skip that one though. That's probably gonna be the worst game on Christmas. Which, just because I'm saying that, by the way, it's gonna turn out to be a Christmas classic out of nowhere. And at the same time, Lions Vikings, that should be a slaughter. So, perfect time to go spend time with the family during those games. Kidding, you should spend time with your families on Christmas. And of course, the last couple Christmas games that we got cooking up. Rockets, Lakers. That should be a fun one. I got Wolves, Nuggets. So got a fun slate of NBA on Christmas. And if you're an NFL fan, this was a slate for the NFL that obviously I can see why they booked it the way they did. Because before the season started, it looked like it was going to be a really fun one. But unfortunately, injuries just ravaged pretty much all the teams playing on Christmas, right? You have, Cowboys, Commanders. Like the Commanders and Cowboys just kind of underwhelmed. But, of course, Jaden Daniels got hurt. So that turned out to be unfortunate. But they were kind of underperforming with Jaden Daniels, so I don't put that on Jaden Daniels, but Cowboys defense is just underperformed and kind of cost them a lot. But yeah, say Lions, we talked about them getting ravaged by injuries all year. The Vikings, say the Vikings just underperform. But games like Denver and Kansas City, I see why they booked it. Of course, you can't really predict, Patrick Mahomes and Gardner Minshew both going down with knee injuries. So I think this was a Christmas slate that had a lot of potential, but unfortunately, injuries kind of robbed us of a lot of these teams just being productive. And so I'll definitely be looking forward to some football on Christmas and basketball, but that's really all I had for you guys. Just gonna pretty much talk football. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens on Christmas, and this might be the last time I see you guys, until after Christmas. So, by the way, Anthony, Georgia, Pam, Jory, Damien, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. At the end of the day, I hope that everybody has a Merry Christmas except Bears fans. Sorry, Damien. Kidding. I definitely appreciate the conversation, Damien. Love having you in the comment section on all the shows. Your report is appreciated. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. Spend time with your families. I'll let you know how my Christmas goes next time I see you. Maybe I'll see you on Christmas. I'll let you know right now. I'm looking forward to this weekend. The Saturday AEW World's End is in Illinois, so I'm going to be heading down to Illinois. I got myself the VIP tickets, so I get to do some fun meet and greets with the wrestlers. Suck packs. Hey, fair enough. I get to do like a fun meet and greet with the wrestlers down there, and I get to go do a fun photo shoot and everything. That's how I got my hair cut. Next time you see me, this will be gone too, or at least I'm going to trim it. So, hey, come here. So thought I'd bring my baby on here as well. So from me, Peanut, and as you can see right there in the corner, Brody, we would all love to wish you a Merry Christmas, and we hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your week.